Place. Yes, very good. When he gets on, I say yes. Then I wait for him to lie down. Yes, very good. And then I reward. Yes, good. Then I enforce the behavior. Very good. And I leave him there. So with the place command, I need him to understand that place means you go onto the place and lie down. It doesn't just mean you go and you stand there. That's your bed. When I say place, go and lie down. So whenever he gets on it, first I have to mark to encourage him that yes, you are where I asked you to go. So I'll say yes when he gets on top of it, when all fours are on top of it. And then I'll wait for him to lie down. Okay, so this is a video reference guide for your practice at home with Archie. So I want to demonstrate first of all the most basic thing, which is how you walk him, because one of the main things we work on are his leash manners. So to get him to be a good walker is just to simply to get him to understand that whenever you're walking him, it shouldn't be because you're forcing, because you're pulling the leash, but it should be because he understands that he should walk next to you. He shouldn't walk too fast, he shouldn't walk too slow. So it's going to look something like this when you're doing it properly. And I'll also demonstrate to you what to do to correct him when it begins to go the wrong way. So first of all, I'll free him free, and then we start our walk. All right, come. Yes. Yes. This way, come. Yes, very good. Very good. So we're using a small space, so I have to keep turning around and around. But if you notice, even when I turn around, I try to make sure I'm not pulling him to turn. I try to make sure he's the one turning. And as long as I keep walking, you will notice that he's going to keep walking. Even though it's a small space, he's not stopping to sit down when we are turning around. Like he's walking. As long as I'm walking, he's walking. And look, I'm not forcing him. The leash is very loose, right? This way. So now what I just did there was what I want to demonstrate when you're going to correct on the leash. Whenever, let's say, he's stopping because of a distraction or something. And that is simply popping the collar. All right, Archie, sit. Yes, very good. So popping the collar is going to look like this, right? I just did it very lightly. I didn't want you to actually pop the collar because he's not doing anything wrong, right? But the idea is the pop is a one time. So for example, as he's lying down, let's say I was trying to walk and he's lying down. Let's say I said free and he didn't mind, he's still lying down. Now, instead of pulling him up, all I do is I do this. That's what I do. Now, when he's still sitting, especially because I'm standing, I'm not doing anything. All I have to do is do it again. And if I need to do it a third time, do it a third time so that he gets the message instead of dragging him up. That's how a pop looks. So it will look something like this. So one pop, he gets up. This way. Same thing when I'm turning him around. If he was going too far, he's too distracted, maybe he saw some dog is pulling his attention, I pop the collar just like that, and you notice he turns, he snaps back into what he's supposed to be doing. So basically, that's how you correct on the collar. Now, when you're walking him, it's appropriate to use a prong collar to walk him. So right now, I am using a prong collar on him, and I recommend one for you as well. That way, anyone can walk him. That way, mommy can walk him, daddy can walk him, and it wouldn't be a problem. Even if you have a help, your help can walk him. It wouldn't be a problem. It will be easy to correct. Because when it's a standard collar and things provoke him and he gets riled up like other dogs, and then you try to pop, it's difficult. You'll be competing with pulling your arm out of the socket versus getting him to correct himself. Sit. Yes, good. So what you want to do is get a prong collar to make things easy, basically. Now, that's it for the walking. Keep it loose. Make sure that the leash is always dangling like that. There should never be tension. So let me demonstrate one last time. Look at this. This is how it should be. Good, come. This is how it should be. Your arm is relaxed. And then he's the one doing the walking. Come. Good. This is how it should be. There should never be tension. If there's tension, just pop once to get him to catch up. If he's too slow, pop to get him to pick up speed. If he's moving too far, how you correct? If he's ahead of you, come this way. Good. If he's ahead of you, instead of popping backwards, you pop upward. Because when he's ahead of you, his whole body is ahead of you. Popping backwards, you're going to be working against a lot of weight. So instead, you pop upward so that you're only dealing with the weight of his head. And then it will help him stop, slow down, and then be at your side again. This way. Yes, very good. If you notice, that was like a very, very light pop because I already knew that, he would actually get up. So there was no need to pop. So that's how it works. When you want him to sit down, you can either use the verbal command, but I also recommend you practice using the leash. So with a leash, you apply leash pressure when you stop like this by raising it up and holding it. As soon as he sits, you release it. And it's important to practice that as well, because when you're in a situation where maybe there are some dogs barking and then he's riled up and you want him to sit and you are saying sit, even though he's hearing you, he's not really connecting anything to what you're saying because his focus, everything is on those animals, those creatures. His prey drive is activated. So how you get him to snap out of it is using leash pressure. So you lift the leash and then you wait. If you need to apply more intensity, you apply more. And as soon as he sits, you release it. So that's how leash pressure works. So I'll demonstrate that one more time. This way. This way. Yes. So just raise it, hold it. As soon as he sits, yes, you release it. Okay. And that's that. Free. Good. So you could do that. Again, you could just easily stop and then ask him to sit. Stop him. Then Archie, sit. Yes. Very good. Good boy. All right. So it's good to practice both the verbal and also with the leash. The leash is a language on its own. So all of these things, the more you practice, the more your dog will respond well on the leash. So the whole concept of leash manners, training your dog in leash manners, is training your dog to that language, to that tune. So I think you should put some effort into walking him maybe 2 to 3 times a week so that you get an opportunity to experience all this. So next thing is when you want to practice his recall, his name recall. We use the e-collar to practice it. So it's pretty good. I like his recall now. It's way better than when he came here. Sometimes he'll be with all the other dogs. They'll be playing and I'll call Archie and he'll zone out and come to me. And we got there thanks to the help of the e-collar. So whenever you want to practice with him, just have some treats on you. You can take off the leash. You can just be in your compound. You can just be walking around. You ignore him completely. And then you pick the moments when he's not looking. Those are the best moments to test his recall. So when his attention is somewhere else, that's when to call him. So if he's looking at something else and then you call and he turns, the moment he turns to look at you, Archie, yes, you show him the treat and then you reward. So the moment he turns to look at you, you mark, yes. So here is where I introduce you to the importance of the marker, which is the word yes. This is yes in physical form. This is a clicker. This is the device used to train dogs, right? So whenever the dog does the activity, the idea is that you click to mark it. So that is yes in physical form, because instead of using this, the alternative is to use the word yes. So it's important, 1, to use it every time to mark good behavior, and then 2, to mark on time at the right moment. So that moment where he tends to look is the right moment for such a recall, because when he's distracted, the idea is that you want your dog to zone out of its distraction every time you call it, right? Hence the recall. So turning from the distraction to you, that's the moment. That is the accomplishment. You mark. If you delay, if he turns and you don't say anything, and then you say come and he starts coming, yes, he'll come all right, but he hasn't learned anything in that moment. The next time he might be distracted, you'll be calling, he'll not listen. But when he turns, and the moment he turns, you say yes, then he begins to understand, okay, so whenever they call me, I need to turn immediately because that's what he wants. And then when you say yes, you show him the treat. So he comes and then you reward him. So that is super important to understand. Timing your marker and always using your marker to enforce good behavior. Now, if he's already looking at you like he's looking at me now, and then you call him, then you mark the moment he takes the first step to come to you. Archie. Yes, very good. So in this scenario, he's sitting not too far away from him. So I call him, he's already looking at me. So he looks up at me. He's wondering, should I come? So what I did was I showed him the treat to let him know that, yes, I want him to come. And as soon as he made a first step towards me, I marked. So I'll do it again. Archie. Yes, very good. So I mark the moment he makes the first step. Not whilst he's on his way, not when he gets to me, but the moment he initiates the move to come to me, that's the moment he responds. I mark yes, right? So those moments of marking are super, super important. So if you want your dog to be responding quickly to its name, no matter what is happening, practicing marking at the right moment when you call is going to help you accomplish that. As I said, his recall is pretty good now anyway, so just practice to make it improve even more and also to make him not forget. So, next thing that I would like you to practice with him is, so at this point, after the walk, we are working without the leash because I know you keep him at home. I know he's going to spend a lot of time indoors with you. So, you're not always going to have him on this. So, I'm going to put this down. And so, we're going to work basically with treats in hand, using the treats, using the verbal commands, using the markers to get the best out of him. And then also to use that to try to control his behavior as much as possible. As you can see, I have a place board over there. So that's representing your bed, the bed where you want him to lie down and stay whenever you want him to stay. So first things first, giving him the treats. And even before that, just to show you what treats I use, chicken sausage, chop them up into pieces like that. That's what I use. I prefer this to using the kibble because with a kibble, a lot of times they choke on it because it's hard. But with this, it's very soft, it's tender. So as soon as they taste it, yes, they swallow it. It disappears fast. So you are able to proceed quickly without interruption. You know, occasionally, once a while, is when they might choke on it a little bit. But with a kibble, you have frequent chokes and all that. So it drags the whole process. So I prefer chicken sausage. Also, it's tasty. It's a high value treat. So most dogs will jump to the opportunity to get these as their treats instead of anything else. So whenever you're giving your dog the treats, especially with Archie, I always recommend that you put the treats in the middle of your hand and then you turn your hand bowl-like, right? And then you support the treat with your thumb so that you can hold on to it in case you want to be luring him around. And then you put your hand under his mouth so that he picks the treat from inside your mouth. You don't put your hand against his face like this. Even if it's against his face, make sure it's scooped underneath his mouth a little bit so that he gets used to picking it out, because that way he picks it out in a softer manner. You know, he'll hardly even use his teeth to try to grab it. He will use his tongue more. But when you come against his face or your hand is above his head, then he tries to grab it. So he starts to use his teeth. Okay. I have no problem with that. I'm able to manage it easily, but you know, you might have issue with it. So make your hand bowl-like and then put it underneath his muzzle. So it would look something like, Archie, sit. Yes. So my hand goes underneath. Yes. And then he picks it up. Very good. Underneath. Yes. And then he picks it up. Very good. Free. Yes. So even when it's free, I put my hand underneath for him to pick it up. So try to use your treats in that manner. Try to give them in that manner to make things easy. Okay, so now with his commands, before you ask him to even sit, right, I want you to also practice luring him so that you can use your hand to control his movement, right? So when you have your dog in your living space and he's hardly on the leash, one of the things you want to be able to do is really conduct your dog. So because he gets the treats from my hand, he's used to the hand as something of high value. So I can use my hand to move him around, even with no treats. Notice how he's following it, because that's where the goodies usually are, right? Now, he's hyper. He stopped the jumping, especially with me, right? But when he gets excited, sometimes, you see, he tries to make an extra effort to get what you want, you know, if you're not ready to give it to him. So when I'm luring him and he tries to do too much, he's using his teeth, right? I stop immediately. So it's like, come, yes, very good. Come. Yes, very good. Come. Then as soon as he starts to use his teeth, even though he's not doing that now, then I'll stop everything, keep my hands to myself and be quiet. And then when he calms down, then I give him another chance. So it's like anytime you're trying to lure him and then, like just now, when I tried, he came like, I want a treat, snapping like that. You just take it away. You stop everything. So it's like you stop the music, you pause and ignore him completely. And when he calms down, you give him another chance. Okay, free. Yes, very good. That was better. So when it's softer, then you go ahead and you give it to him. And then whenever you're done giving him a treat, I advise you to keep your hands to yourself, okay? Because when your hands are around, he'll think that there's stuff over there, he'll be chasing it. So he'll be moving towards your hand. See that whole behavior of trying to snap? Look at that. Trying to snap at my hand and all that. And when he does it, you see, I'm deliberately leaving my hand there because I want you to see how it is like, it is a manageable pain, if I should put it that way. So sometimes if you're in a hurry to get results, you neglect it. You feel like, oh, it's normal, and you leave it. But you see, with me, I can manage it. But maybe with a child, you feel pain. So that is why you should keep your hands to yourself to avoid giving him the opportunity to continue that kind of behavior. And then only when you're about to reward him or you're about to conduct him, you use your hand. And if he does demonstrates that behavior, sit, yes. So this entire time he didn't demonstrate that behavior. But if I was lowering him and he did that snapping thing, I'll just stop, keep the treat to myself, ignore him. When he calms down, then I'll give him another chance, right? So I want you to also keep that in mind and always make sure that you correct that whenever you see it. Because an important part about everything is understanding how corrections work so that it's easy for you to manage certain behaviors. So that's how you correct behaviors like that. Just stop everything. Keep your hands to yourself. When he's calm, you mark yes, good. You give him another chance. When he's doing too much, come, good. So I'm going to keep the treat up to deliberately force him to try to do that to show you what I mean by stopping. So he did kaka, I just stopped. No. And then I give him another chance. Come. No. See. And then another chance. Yes. So you see, this time I was up, but he didn't try to snap at it. I'm deliberately keeping my hand up to force him to do the behavior so that I'll show you what I mean by stopping completely. But then that is the very reason why I say don't give treats from up. Always give them from down. Aha. When you keep your hands up, then he tries to reach and he does all that. But because he hasn't tried, he's been a good boy. He's taken note of the last two corrections. I'll give it to him. Yes, very good. Okay. I just did that to demonstrate that. Good. So now that you know that your hand is a powerful tool of conducting, before you ask him to sit, I want you to be the one who decides where he sits. So don't just make it casual and he can come and sit anywhere and be awkward. Try to get used to giving him guidance. And the more you get used to that, the more he will easily follow your leadership, easily follow your guidance, easily look up to you for approval. Am I doing things right? Is this how you want it? And all that. Okay? So use the luring every time. So if you call him to you and you want him to come and sit in front of you, please take your hand to the middle of your body when you call him. So if I call him Archie, I want him to come that way and start from here. Then I bring him to the middle and then I say, sit, so that he sits right in front of me. And then yes, and then I reward. If I want him at my side, Archie, I'll lower him, keep him here, stop him here, and then take the treat above his head. Sit, yes, so that he sits right by my side. We're both facing you or, So again, if I want him in front of me, Archie, using my hand to get him to go in front, bring him to me, to my center. Yes, sit, yes, so that he's right in front of me where I want him to be, yes. And then again, if I want him on my side, this time my left side free, I'll lower him, turn him around with my hand, sit, yes, and then reward him where I want him to be. Okay, so that's how I want you to go about usually asking him to sit. Make sure you call him and then you guide him to where you want him to be with your hand. Okay, and make sure that he arrives there. If you call him from your front and then he gets here and you're taking your hand to your side and you say sit, you sit awkwardly facing over there. He's not actually facing you, right? All the space is here. So you want to make sure your hand is centered in the center of your body. Sit. Yes, so that he's actually facing you. You realize when I take the treat up, it's still in the center of my body. It's right in the middle of my chest towards my face. Good. Yes, very good. Next thing is, there are certain gestures that he's used to now. Because what I just demonstrated, you realize when he comes, when I get him where I want him to be, when I say sit, sit, yes. I take the treat away as you saw, as I say sit, sit. And then when he sits, I say yes, and then I give him the treat. It's very important to do that because if I call him, come, yes, sit, and I'm like this, asking him to sit, his mind is so much on the treat that you see, he's not even listening. Sit, you see. But when I take it away, sit, then he's like, he has to put in effort to do what I'm asking him to do to get the reward. And then when he does it, then I give him the reward. Yes, very good. So this way he learns to do it. And then when he hears the yes, the marker, he learns to associate it so that eventually I can easily get the same results even when I don't have treats. So if I don't have a treat in my hand, come, sit, yes, it becomes easy. When he sees the gesture, it becomes easy. Even when I don't say sit, come, good. Yes, very good. I still get the same results just with a gesture. So try to practice that way. So when you call him forward, come, sit, you take the treat upward to your face as he said yes to mark, and then you reward. Okay, free. Very good. So the marking, if you've realized, I am using it every single time. When he sits, I mark. When I call him and he's coming, I mark. When I free him, I mark. Free? Yes, very good. Maybe the first time I wasn't marking when I freed him, but please, even when you free him, mark, okay? So that's how you practice his sits with him. Now, you want to do it face to face, and you want to do it on both sides. This way, good. Sit. Yes, very good. So when he's on the side, I take the treat above his head. So let me do it this way. So this time I don't take it to my face. Because I've guided him here, I just take it above his head at the same spot. So free. Good. So I bring him this way, turn him around, and take it above his head and say, sit. Yes. And then I give it to him after he sits. And of course, I mark the moment his bum touches the floor. Very good. Free. Yes. Very good. So you want to practice the down command face to face, side by side on both sides and everything, right? So I'm going to do it side on my right side first. Okay, down. Yes, good. Very good. I'll mark, wait for him, make sure he's still down and everything. Then after a while, yes, very good. I'll reward. Wait a while. Make sure he's still down. So this is enforcing his stay without moving away. So after this, the next phase will be to enforce it even as we move away from him. Yes, very good. And then I'm going to free him. Free. Good. Then we'll do it face to face. Good. Down. Yes. Very good. Very good. So again, I'm just going to wait, stay, and then after a while I'll reward. He's been a good boy, still lying down. So yes, good. Very good. Then you wait a while, repeat, and then reward. Yes, very good. And then you try and do it on the other side as well. Free. Good. This way. Good. Down. Yes, very good. So as I said, whenever you do the command and then he hesitates, instead of repeating yourself, hold the gesture and then just look in the direction. So if it was a sit, the gesture will be up like this. And then because it's a down, the gesture is down like that. And I just hold it and I wait. When you wait, it allows him to think and then ask himself, is he doing the right thing? And then when he does it, the moment you mark, then that marker has an impact. And there's a lot of learning there. Yes, very good. All right, free. Very good. So he stayed, he did very well. Okay. So now the next stage is now just teaching him to not only stay, but smart as. So not only stay, but like stay even when I leave him. So first of all, I'll get him in front of me. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes. Very good. And usually with a stay, I like to do it in the down position because it's more comfortable. So first of all, you just move a few steps away from him. And then if he's still staying, you mark when you get to the end, yes. And then you come back to him and you reward him in the position, yes. Very good. And whenever he's down, you make sure you go low enough to reward him whilst he's lying down. If you keep the treat above his head and he has to get up to take it, you're spoiling the behavior. So try to make sure you go low enough to reward him whilst he's still down. I mark yes, enforce it with good. Step back, he's still there, yes. Coming to give him a second reward. Yes. So before he gets the reward, here's a yes again. And before I walk away, I enforce it. Good. Very good. So I can come there and reward before I free him, or I can free him from here. So I can just stand here and simply say free. Yes, very good. Very good. Okay, so that's one way to practice it. The other way is to do it whilst you are walking together. So instead of calling him to me now, let's say we are walking and then I say sit. Yes. Okay, down. Yes. Down. So now I walk past him. My back is to him. Very good. And I have to be encouraging the behavior. That's why I say very good. So when I turn and he's still there, yes. Then I come back to him. Yes, I mark and I reward. And before I go away again, I say very good. Turn my back to him. Nope. So when he makes a mistake, be quick to mark no. And then I turn around, use the gesture, just wait. Yes. Good. Mark. Very good. I mean enforce. Very good. Walk away with my back to him. When I turn and he's still there, yes, good boy. Then I come and reward, and then I try it again because he made a mistake. Yes, very good boy. Then I enforce the behavior. Good. And then I walk away with my back to him. Turn around, he's still there. Yes, good. Come back to him. Yes, very good. And then now I can free him. Free. Yes, very good. Can get it. So that's the way you practice to stay with him. So now with you in your house, it's good to try to push the limits of it. Now, when you push the limits of it, that is where it helps you in particular with your practice. So this is the foundation. This is my job, to give him the understanding of how it works. Now, here is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to be able to make sure he doesn't forget that and to apply it. So if, for example, you need to go into the kitchen and you need him to stay put, this is where you begin to practice it. So I'll test him with that. And this is going to be the first time I've tried him going into the kitchen. So if he makes mistakes, this will be a good opportunity for me to correct it so you can observe. Okay, down. Yes, good. Good, down. So the first thing is when I open the door and he stays, yes, I'll mark it. I'll close the door and I'll come and reward because that's one advancement. Yes, very good. Very good. Okay, because usually if I open the door, he might say, hey, this one here, we haven't done it before. Where is he going? Is he leaving me? And get up. But because he stays, I'll mark that and then come and reward. Yes, good. I'll enforce the behavior. And this time when I open, I'm going to walk in. So I'm walking all the way to the refrigerator, but I'll not get all the way, turn around because I don't want to stretch it too much for now. Yes, and when I see him, I mark. Yes, very good. And then I come and reward. Very good. Very good. And this is impressive because we've only done a scenario where he was outside and I came inside the house. Okay. Now we're inside the house, he could respond differently, but he's still holding on to those principles, which is amazing. So I'm going to do it again. Yes, very good. This time I'll get all the way to the refrigerator. The door is already open. And I'll open the fridge, take out whatever it is I want to take. Maybe grab a bottle of water or something. Take my time. Yes, very good. So when I come and I see him that I mark, yes, give him his reward. Now I'll free him. Free. Yes, good boy. Okay, so you apply it. That's an example of how you apply it. So I just demonstrated that, but whilst I'm at it, let me have some water. Good boy. So of course, this time I didn't give a command, so he didn't stay. Archie. Yes, very good. So now we're moving on to the next thing, which is the place. So I'm going to ask him, place. First of all, I moved this in here for the first time. So let me guide him to where it says place. Yes, very good. When he gets on, I say yes. Then I wait for him to lie down. Yes, very good. And then I reward. Yes, good. Then I enforce the behavior. Very good. And I leave him there. So with the place command, I need him to understand that place means you go onto the place and lie down. It doesn't just mean you go and you stand there. That's your bed. When I say place, go and lie down. So whenever he gets on it, first I have to mark to encourage him that yes, you are where I asked you to go. So I'll say yes when he gets on top of it, when all fours are on top of it. And then I'll wait for him to lie down. When he lies down, I'll mark again yes. And then I'll go and give him a reward for being there. Then I can leave him and then come to you guys. So time has passed. He's still there. He hasn't moved. So to encourage the behavior, then I'll go back to him and reward him again. Yes, very good. So I'll mark, get to him. Yes, mark again. Very good. Give him and good. Very good. And then say the good as a reinforcer. And then I can walk away again. So every time you want to reinforce the behavior, you say good. You can say good boy. If it's a place, you can say good place. If it's a sit, you can say good sit. If it's a down, you can say good down, right? And he's staying like a good boy. So the more you intermittently go and reward him for this, the more he understands that stay means stay. And good things happen to him when he stays. And I'm deliberately stretching it long because we've worked on it again and again. I know it's something that you wanted to accomplish, so I took it very seriously. But at the same time, I want to recommend that you don't stretch it too long at the beginning. You reward in shorter and shorter intervals, right? And then when you are confident that he's responding or you are doing the right thing, then you can begin to stretch it, okay? So yes, very good. I'm gonna go and reward him again. Yes, very good, good. Enforce the behavior again and leave him there. So as you can see, he's doing his plays very well. So I'm going to reward him now. I'm going to free him and reward him now. Free. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Very good boy. Well done. Well done. And I always say give the cuddles whenever there's a breakthrough, right? When there's a breakthrough, that's the best time to give cuddles, to let him know that, yeah, he's really, really done well. Very, very good boy. Very good boy. And that's basically it. That's how you practice all of these things.